Nothing But the Words, episode number 86, Your Unique Writing Personality.
Welcome to Nothing But the Words, the podcast that gives you everything you need to know to write a phenomenal book. Now here's your host, your author coach, Candace L. Davis.
Hey there, and welcome to Nothing But the Words. I'm your author coach, Candace L. Davis, and I hope your week and your writing and your new year are all going really, really well. I'm recording and releasing this episode in the first week of 2022. And of course, this is the time of year when many of us set goals, make resolutions, choose a word or a theme for the year, and really look forward to a fresh start. I love this time of year and I adore a fresh start, so I'm all about it. My theme for last year, or what I like to call my prime directive, was raise the standard. This year, my theme is go all in. Now, going all in for me has nothing to do with hustling and nothing to do with grinding. I am never going to be team no sleep. I have nothing against working hard when it's required, but I'm not setting myself up for a year of driving all year long. Instead, my theme of go all in is my reminder to choose only those projects and programs and courses and events and relationships I can go all in on. If I can't give 100% commitment, 100% effort, this year, it's not for me. So I'm going all in for my one-on-one coaching clients, continuing to develop my skills and learn even more about writing and publishing and coaching so I can offer them more value. I'm going all in for my group coaching clients and showing up for them with full energy and more resources and new content and new opportunities to make that coaching experience really blow their minds. And I'm going all in on creating content that will serve my podcast listeners, and social media followers and email subscribers. Whether or not you ever actually work with me this year, if you show up in my space, I'm giving you value. Now, I don't expect you to adopt my prime directive, go all in for 2022, and you may not even have a theme for the year if that's not your thing. But if you want to plan to write your book this year, I want to encourage you to go all in for your book. I will be honest with you. I meet people all the time who find out what I do and they tell me they're writing a book. And when I run into them months later or even years later, they still have nothing to show me. It's incredibly common. It's completely understandable, but it doesn't have to happen to you in 2022. Even if you've set a goal to write your book for the last 2 or 5 or 7 years, this can be the year you finally do it. But writing a book worth publishing doesn't happen over a weekend or the space of a month. You need to sustain your energy and your enthusiasm and your effort over a period of weeks and probably a period of several months. To do that, you need to go all in on your book, but you have to do it your way. You can't do it my way. You can't do it someone else's way. It's just not going to work. You can get input, but you have to work within your own unique writing personality. Answering these 3 questions will help you get clear about how you can make this your year to write your book and do it your way. Question number 1, are you a binge writer or a moderate and consistent writer? I usually coach my clients to start with writing consistently, maybe 30 to 60 minutes a day, 5 to 7 days a week. This works for a lot of new authors because they haven't developed their writing concentration skills yet, and also because they can fit it into their calendars. But you have to know yourself and your lifestyle. Some people prefer to write more intensely. They like to binge write on Saturday and Sunday mornings or wherever it fits in their schedule, and then put the writing aside for the rest of the week. It works for them. Or they like to go away for a week at a time and spend 5 to 7 days just writing. You might have to experiment with each process, writing a little bit every day or writing in deeper spurts to see which one works best for you. Whichever schedule you choose, start small in the beginning and then build up unless you're a fairly experienced writer. Keep a record of how your writing goes and evaluate your progress so you can make a rational decision about which writing schedule actually serves you best. It can be easy to tell ourselves stories about what's working and what's not. So if you keep track of your progress, such as how many pages you wrote or how many words you produce in a week, that will help you make a decision as to which schedule works best for you. But I want you to also note how you feel when you're writing. How does it feel when you write under either schedule? Which process feels better to you? Now, if the first one you try works great, don't bother with the other one. Go with what works for you. Question number 2, do you prefer to write and revise chapter by chapter or sort of brain dump chapter by chapter? Let it stand there, let the rough draft stand and move on, knowing you'll have to revise the entire manuscript from scratch at the end. There is no wrong answer. You just have to get to know yourself and your writing personality. Whichever path you take, writing a world-class book will require you to commit to rewriting and revision. It's a part of the process. So prepare yourself for that. But some authors find it easier to revise the latest chapter before they go on to the next. And others just want to write a complete rough draft of the manuscript, beginning, middle, and end, before they go back to revise anything. Most of my coaching clients tend to fall somewhere in the middle. They write a chapter, read over it, and revise it lightly, and then move on. Others rewrite the latest chapter until it totally shines before they go on to the next thing. That can be dangerous because you can truly spend weeks or months polishing a single chapter. Back when I was in really high-end writing workshops, I watched authors who would, week after week, move commas around and tweak the same sentence structure in the same chapter. It's really difficult for them to make progress. And sometimes, frankly, I was that author. So no shade on that. You care deeply about your writing. You can get caught up in that cycle. This method, however, becomes a problem for you if you have a deadline with a publisher or if you have a deadline with yourself in your own business. It becomes a problem if you use it as an excuse to procrastinate and not finish writing your book. So test it out for yourself. But if you decide you need to revise before you move on, I suggest you limit the number of passes you'll do of each chapter before you write the next one. It's up to you to decide, but be honest with yourself about why you're choosing whichever writing method you choose, whether that's to stop and revise the chapter before you move on or to just keep going. And question number 3, how do you best receive feedback? I believe so deeply in good editing, friend, but I also believe in getting feedback well before you have a finished manuscript, especially when you're writing your first book. I workshopped my writing for years because I saw the value in getting feedback from my mentor and my workshop peers, well, the ones who cared at all about my book. Your workshop peers don't always care unless your mentor has done a great job of selecting who they allow into the workshop and setting expectations. But I encourage you to get feedback at every milestone along the way, not just from anyone, but from an expert who knows what they're doing. Those workshops would not have been beneficial for me had they not been run by really smart mentors. Getting expert feedback on your book idea, your outline, your writing plan, and your content does not mean you're writing the book someone else wants you to write. A great author coach should help you write the book you feel called to write. You might join a group program or hire a one-on-one coach, but before you do, it's important that you know how you best receive feedback. Why does that matter? Because you can tell your potential coach how you want them to give you constructive criticism. You can tell them before you hire them. I have some coaching clients who prefer to hear at least as much about their strengths as they do their opportunities. And I actually prefer to talk about your strengths as much as I do your opportunities because then you know what you can do more of. Others prefer to get directly to the opportunities for improvement. You can just write down the strengths, they'll read over it later. Knowing what you want from a prospective coach, and asking them if they can give it to you will help you say yes to the right author coach for you and no to the wrong one for you. I believe anyone who wants to write a phenomenal book can do it. Experience has taught me that. If you want to write your book this year, I encourage you to go all in, but do it your way and according to your unique writing personality. Ask yourself, are you a binge writer or a consistent moderate writer? Do you prefer to revise chapter by chapter or all at the end, or do you fall somewhere in the middle? And how do you prefer to receive feedback? Answer those 3 questions and write your book in 2022 your way. That's all for this week's episode, my friends. If you need help getting started with your book, Download my free resource, Jumpstart Your Book, at CandiceLDavis.com/jumpstart. The short video training and quick guide will help you get started right away. Thanks for listening to Nothing But the Words. I'm your author coach, Candice L. Davis, and I'll see you next time.